Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think so many fans have said, and I think I speak for many when I say this, that, we definitely want, the character of Miss Chancellor to be put to rest along with Jeannie, only because, I think that's the only way it can be. And
No, you can't.
No one could fill her shoes. No one could take her place. It just wouldn't be right.
I totally understand that. Yeah,
and as that storyline evolves in the coming months, that's going to be very hard. It's going to be almost reliving this all over again. Only we're now going to have to endure it with the character, and the cast that are playing the characters.
Yeah, that's true, because when I started thinking back to the scenes that we all played when. Remember, in the storyline, we thought she was dead and she wasn't, that whole thing. And I started thinking of those scenes, and those were hard to play then, knowing that she was around, and, in real life, that she was still around and she would be back. She would be there. Yeah. So I don't know. I know it will be good, whatever they have planned. I have not heard. I don't know, but...
I had a question.
And I'm sure they're taking they're taking in what everyone is saying. And I don't know if people realize that, that like cbs.com has a comment line, and people should go on and, leave their comments.
Yeah,
what they want to see happen and what they want, because they do pay attention to that. They really do.
Maybe it would be fitting if the fans had, kind of input and say into how this final storyline, per se, with Catherine Chancellor will take place and how it will evolve and unfold. Although the writing is phenomenal, but, just to maybe have that fan element, that fan involvement of having the final respects paid to the character, just as they were paid today on the show. And, that's definitely, thank you for reminding everyone to do that, because I think sometimes we forget that, that's why that's there. It's for the fans to go and voice, our thoughts and our comments.
That kind of thing they do take that in. They know, and they read that, and they take it all in, because years ago when people kept wanting to see my daughter come back, and they wrote, and then they did. My daughter did come back. Mm-hmm. When for a long time everyone was asking, "Where's your daughter? Where's your daughter?" Kind of thing. So I think people forget that they can have, they do have an impact, and they can make things happen, and they just have to let them know and keep letting them know what they want, what they want to see.
Yeah.
And bide their time.
Pardon?
And bide their time, because nothing happens like overnight.
That's true, too.
Right.
That's very true. It takes time. And, they're written ahead right now, probably, till July. So, you're not going to even see on air anything, because things are already written. And they had to change things around, I'm sure, when all this happened. So, I know they're trying to figure it out as well, but I know that they will, whatever they do is going to be, fitting and right and good. So, as fitting and right and good as it can be. For me, was fitting and right would be if she was still here.
Oh yeah,
right? I'm having a hard time myself with all this, so it's a hard one.
Well, yeah, you'll never be able to walk back into work again and look at it the same way as you did before.
No, absolutely not. And outside of her dressing room, there's a memorial kind of thing. There's flowers and, picture, and then there's notes. We've all put notes on her door. And, I went in that room, for years. We always ran our lines in there, and just lots of things that are different and aren't going to be the same. But, she would want us to go forward and grow and keep going. And I intend to do that in her memory, as hard as it is. And I'm really bad at change anyway. I hate change. I'm so bad at it.
You're not alone.
No. Join Minnie in that same thought.
What?
I said, many people out there have the same thought. I don't like change myself, so especially change that is unexpected, you know.
Right. I mean, some people welcome change, but I never have. I always like things to keep going and be the same. But, you know, things happen, and we don't know why they happen. Things happen for a reason, whatever the reasons are. I don't know. I certainly did not prepare myself for this. I really thought that she was going to be fine. So I was, not prepared. Though you're never prepared anyway. You can't be prepared for this.
No. Even if you know ahead of time, you're never prepared.
But you look at the fact, too, of the incredible life she's had and, and how many people she's affected, and very few people can accomplish what she's accomplished. Very few.
That's true.
Very few.
So very true.
So it's an honor to have worked with her all these years. I am very honored and very blessed to have spent the last 31 years with her, and and she's made change because of her. My life was changed, totally changed because of her, and remembering back, I see things like this that we all talked about in the tribute show, but that wasn't aired. That's why I'm hoping that will be online, that people will be able to see all that, because I talked about the first day. And they didn't have that, but there were too many, and they needed to put footage in as well. That's why I think they did a great job in editing. I didn't know how they were going to ever do this, but just meeting her the first day, that was 31 years ago, and going up to her, and she was sitting in the makeup chair. I can see it like it was yesterday, and going up to her and introducing myself and telling her I was going to play her maid today, and she looked at me like that look of hers. And she said, well, it's about time. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of answering my own door, And that was the start of it. That was the beginning, and I loved her ever since. That was our first contact, and it just went on from there,
I think we're all chuckling because we can see her saying that, and what a way to put you at ease on the first day, I know several of the characters talked about how, meeting her for the first time was quite awe-inspiring, and then, she just immediately just put each and every person that came on the scene there at Y&R, completely at ease, as if, hey, it's okay, and I think that's awesome, the way she went about that.
Yeah, totally, definitely. Oh. She had a way that was just unbelievable, and she was so, she was so amazing because, and several people alluded to the fact that she was, a diva. She was a truck driver. She was everything. Her language, just everything, all rolled up, and yet she was classy and brilliant, and just she was just so many different people all rolled up into one. She was one very talented woman, and very, and loyal and giving, and I know. She knew I loved her, and I know she loved me. There's things that and so, but she was. It's hard to even explain, because what you see is what you get.
Mm-hmm.
She was with you as how she was.
Yeah, most definitely. And what is one piece of advice that you remember that Jeannie gave you? That just kind of stands out above everything that she maybe ever taught you or did that had an impact on you?
Well, I think in the beginning, because when we would do, and I do the same thing, but I remember being really struck by the fact that how amazing she was to all of her fans. And she always gave them the time and the recognition that they deserved. And she, if it wasn't for all the viewers, if it wasn't for all of you, if it wasn't for the fans, I wouldn't even be here talking to you. We wouldn't even, be having this conversation, because that's why Young and the Restless is there, and that's why Young and the Restless, why it's the #1 show, and it's all for everyone that is viewing this show. And of course, the show is really great about imparting knowledge, as it goes along. But also, the main point of The Young and the Restless is to entertain. And
That's true.
And they entertain, with knowledge and with teaching as they go along. And definitely, that's what Jeanne Cooper did, I think.
That's definitely.
Absolutely.
I have a guest on the phone that would like to say hi to you, Kate.
Okay.
Hey, Kate, it's LAURALEE.
LAURALEE.
So isn't it, listen, it's so funny because I'm hearing you talk, and we're all talking and doing these interviews and stuff, and I still I feel like next time I'm at the studio, Jeanne will be there. Like, this is all still very surreal, and I've never been at the set without Jeanne. Like, I've never not gone to work without expecting LAURALEE, like something. And so
I know
it's so
it's
and
really
everything you were saying.
Yeah. Trying to explain too that it's really hard. It's hard for us because I also expect her to be there, right. And watching that tribute show, I thought, well, she's just going to pop in and say, ha ha, the joke's on you,
Right.
I expect her to do that. So it is hard for all of us.
It is.
And I know how much you loved her and how much she loved you, LAURALEE.
Wow.
She so loved you.
She was she was so great with all of us because she was one of us, but she was the also the mother figure, but would talk to us in a way that was so approachable in terms of not preachy but suggestive, but she just was so fun. She encompassed every age group and had every sort of personality, and it was just fun. She's just a fun person. And Scott and I were watching the first few minutes of it, and he's my husband too. Just was like, I can't believe she's not here.
Right.
But the great thing, I was, I'm sure it was because my mom was with me, but we were lucky enough to spend some time with her in the hospital, and we walked in and she had on matching nail polish with matching scarf and her big sunglasses, and she was just fun. She was making she knew that the situation she was in was just not for her, but she was still making the best out of it, and smiling and giving that look that just says it all, that she looks right at you, and you just know that there are some people that talk to you and are sort of looking behind you or
right.
rushing the conversation, but she was always in every moment, whether it be real or work or and I would love to listen to her talk about her grandkids and everything, because at the end of the day, that's what life is about, is your family. And she loved all aspects, her show family and her family, and loved when her grandkids would come over and her dogs, and it's just it was fun to listen to her.
Oh, absolutely. And she lived every moment. Mm-hmm. She went for it every single moment, and I think that's a good lesson too that she taught all of us. Is
sure,
you go for it.
Right.
You go for those moments, and they only come around once, and you make sure you live them and go for them, because that's what she did. Like you said, in the hospital, even that moment, she was living that to the full extent of what that was at that point.
Right. Didn't love it. I'm here. I'm surrounded by my daughter and some friends, and let's enjoy it. Because what else are we gonna do?
I don't know. It's just I keep thinking, and people go, well, she's 84. I go, well, yeah, but to me that's not old anymore. Like
I
84.
know.
Okay, well, yeah, I know, but 84
so
is not old.
My mom's 84 too, and I keep saying,
I know.
It's like 84 is the new 60.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's also relative anyway. Age is it just doesn't. It's a hard one. I think this I'm
sure it was nice today for the viewers to see Corbin Collins and Karen.
Yeah,
oh
definitely.
My gosh, it was. Yeah.
And
then you have to realize, on how hard it is for them too. We